guys, Bombbuster72 here again. Today we're going to talk about communications during an emergency event. Communications are extremely important for everything from a small emergency all the way up through a full, without rule of law type of situation. Now, in a deployed location, the military has a few rules. If your communications are out, that would prevent you from going on a patrol until you can get it fixed. That's how important the military thinks communication is. Now, you can't really have a conversation about communications without talking about communication security, or ComSec. This is basically, you want to keep people from the outside from hearing or understanding your conversation. Now, there are a few of the PMR, or personal mobile radios, that actually do this. They are sort of secure. It doesn't actually have encryption. What it does is it goes through a system known as frequency hop, meaning it changes the frequency that it's operating and transmitting on quickly and in a set pattern, so that everyone with that type of radio would hear the full conversation, and anyone listening in would only hear a small fragment of it. Now, the problem with these is they're a little pricey. Additionally, everyone in your group, everyone who you wanted to know and have that same conversation with, would have to have the same style and same type of radio. Another method that would help you with communication security would be using a field phone. This is the military style field phone. And what they are is they're a hardwired telephone type. And they're self-powered, so you don't have to worry about that part of it. You are limited though. They are hardwired together, and you would be limited on the length of wire. And additionally, if someone else has a field phone, they in theory could tap into that line and hear the conversation. But it shouldn't be too hard to secure that line, whether burying it in a pipe or even just checking it every once in a while to make sure that no one's tapped into it. And finally, for ComSec, my favorite is brevity codes. Now, these would be cheat sheets. If you've ever been in the military and you know what a 9-line either IED report or a medevac report is, this is using brevity codes. You would call out line 1, and then you would state whatever line 1 meant. And everyone who has that sheet, or those cheat sheets, if you will, would be able to understand the conversation. To anyone else, it would really be pretty much gibberish. So this is a good way to make sure your conversation is secure. Using a little imagination, you should be able to come up with different codes that mean different things to you and everyone else that's with you. Now, let's talk about the items that we're going to need for different lengths of events. First off, short term. This is an emergency that lasts from 1 to 7 days. In today's day and age, everyone should have a cell phone and a charger. Now, this isn't going to help you if the electricity's down and the cell phone towers aren't working. And in that case, I think everyone should have a personal mobile radio, at least in their bug-out bag. Everyone in your family should have one of these and enough spare batteries to last them for that 7 days. Additionally, having a signaling mirror, signaling type lasers, whistles, and an AM/FM and weather band battery-powered radio would be perfect. That way you can stay informed on what's happening, and it's always good to stay informed. Next is intermediate term. These are events that last anywhere from 7 to 90 days. At this point, I think you need to consider having rechargeable batteries for your personal mobile radio. But if the electricity's out, how are you going to charge those? I mean, if it's still working, that's fine. You can obviously plug in the charger, and away you go. But if that isn't going to work for you, you need to consider having solar power, or maybe even hand crank, or a generator and fuel. It also might be a good idea to consider having a headset for your radio at this point, and a police scanner isn't a bad idea either. And finally, we have long-term events. These are events that last from 90 to 365 plus days. Now, you're going to want to have some sort of stationary radio, something that's able to reach out to your personal mobile radios at a much greater distance. You're also going to want to have some spare PMRs. This is so you can share it with anyone who happens to link up and joins your group. You'll be able to give them one. And you could replace any that might get broken along the way. You may also want to consider a ham radio, but you need to think about that now and make sure you do all the training and licensing ahead of time so you don't have to worry about that later. Today we've talked about the basics of communication during an emergency. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be starting a new series. It's going to be in the field with Bombbuster72, where I'm going to demonstrate how to use some of these items. And first up will be starting fires without matches. But next week is going to be luxury items, diversions, those nice things to have during an emergency. Until then, take care and be safe.